So I recently read a bloody amazing book, and it was friggin' amazing. Hey book lovers, Victoria here and you're watching My Books Areme. Today I'm going to be doing a non-spoiler review of Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, the first book in the Illuminae files. This came out in October, and I finished reading it last week and it was amazing. I'm not going to, like I said, this is going to be a non-spoiler review. I'm not going to delve into too much more than what is on the back of the book. So if you haven't read Illuminae yet, you can stick around and learn what this book is about. And if you have read Illuminae, I would love to be able to talk to you guys in the comments below about your thoughts on the book. This book was just, as I said, amazing. So Illuminae is quite an interesting book because it is told entirely through documents. You've got like emails and court martials and chat logs and transmission recordings and surveillance cam summaries and diary entries, and then you've got artificial intelligence data logs. You've got everything in this book, and there is absolutely no traditional prose in this book. It is such an interesting way to tell a story, and it definitely made this story such a fun experience, and I definitely recommend reading this book simply for that experience. So Illuminae is a science fiction novel, and I personally don't go out to read science fiction books, but I've been so excited for this book ever since people started receiving ARC copies from like BEA, and they were hardcover ARC copies, which is amazing in itself, and everyone was so excited about it, and everyone who read it before the release was just saying it was such an amazing book, so I was very excited to read it, especially because it was also told through those documents. The story takes place in the year 2575 when people are living on all different planets all over the universe, and there is this planet called Corenza where a mining company is illegally mining whatever's in the planet, and there are obviously people living there. And it is nothing literally than just an ice-covered speck at the edge of the universe. However, a major mining company called Bitech decides that they want to take over this illegal mining operation, and so in order to do that, they attack and invade Corenza, and thousands of people die. However, luckily, thousands of people are rescued by the United Terran Authority vessels, the warship Alexander, the science vessel Hypatia, and the cargo carrier, Copernicus, because they are all traveling nearby, and they hear their rescue attempts and rescue them, and they have to now travel to the Hemdale jump point. At this jump point, a black hole will be formed, and all of the inhabitants of Corenza will be transported to a safe location within the universe, because they are also being pursued by the Lincoln, which is the Bitech warship, who is attempting to kill any witnesses to the attack so that no one will know that they have just invaded a planet. Unfortunately, this journey to the Hemdale, which is going to take several months, isn't a smooth sailing one. For starters, the artificial intelligence on Alexander, known as Aiden, was damaged in the attack, so it is doing very weird things, and in order to fix it they must take it offline, and in doing this it means that the fleet has to travel at a much slower rate, which means that the Lincoln has a very easy chance of catching them up. And this results in people turning very psychotic and murdering other people. And when some infected people end up on the Alexander, things turn pretty nasty. This book follows two people. The first one is Katie Grant, who is 17 years old, and she is on the science vessel Hypatia. She is a very computer savvy person and has a very good knack for hacking into computer systems, which she is doing while she's on Hypatia, hacking into the command system and finding out what's really going on. The second person is Ezra Mason, who is on the Alexander, and he has been conscripted to fly one of the cyclones, and he is just very chill, getting to, have fun flying little vessel thingies. Now, what connects these two is the fact that they had been dating for a while, for a couple of years, and they ended up breaking up shortly before the Bitech invasion of Corenza. Now, they weren't talking, however, when things start to get a lot more serious and there are some secrets that you can tell are being kept by Command, the two start talking to one another and realize that Command is keeping some very serious and possibly deadly secrets from the rest of the fleet, and they have to work together in order to try and save themselves, save the fleet, and get back together, because they realize that they shouldn't have broken up. This book was just one event after another, and it was absolutely amazing. It was such a wild ride. When you thought all the problems had been solved, another one arose, and then it would just snowball and there'd be more problems and more action, and it was just so fun. I had no idea where the story was going. I couldn't tell where it was going to go. I hadn't heard anything about how the first book ended, and I was both surprised, but I was really happy with how this first book finished and where it went and the events that happened. And I must admit, I did shed a few tears, because it is so beautifully written as well. Even though it is told through all these different documents, it is told so beautifully and just so amazingly. It was I assume that it's pretty hard to tell a story entirely through documents in a way that readers can still know what is going on, still connect with the characters, and still understand what's happening with the story. And Amy and Jay have managed to do this so perfectly well, and I was actually quite worried that I wouldn't like the story because of this, or that it wouldn't be a good story because it was told through documents only. But it really worked, and I feel like this story would not have been as good if it had been told traditionally, maybe with the documents inserted between traditional prose. To come up with such an array of documents that keeps readers on their toes is highly commendable, and I have nothing but praise for the two authors and their publishing team, who have been able to achieve such a feat at making a 600-page book out of documents that just works. I feel like this book would be perfect for either someone who is trying to get into the sci-fi genre, or someone who doesn't really delve into that genre very much but would kind of like to read a few science fiction books here and there. For me personally, I didn't find you were bogged down with technical mumbo jumbo and long-winded descriptions of everything, because it's only the characters communicating with one another. And everyone within this world already knows what these things look like and what these things do. So you don't need to explain them. And I feel like it's pretty easy from just how they say things that you understand exactly what sort of piece of equipment they're using and what that equipment does. I just thought it didn't feel very technical, it didn't feel very sciencey, but it still was a science fiction novel. For a 600-page book, you were able to read it extremely quickly because of the document layout, which I think is really good. I feel like if you are worried that this book is going to be too big, too dense, and just too long of a read for you, don't. It only took me a week to read the book, and it probably would have taken me less time if I wasn't busy doing other things. It was just a book that I couldn't put down, and I just wanted to keep reading, because with a normal book, I work that I'll just read to the next chapter and then I'll stop. This book, it's not in chapters. Each document is just like a new chapter kind of thing. So when I aimed for I'll finish at the end of this document, I was like, no, I can't end there because it's like a cliffhanger. I need to know what happens from here. So it's just such a gripping novel, and you will fly through it, trust me. I'm so excited for book 2 to come out. It comes out next year sometime. I don't think we have an exact date yet. We don't have a cover, we don't have a title, we don't have a synopsis. So we don't really have much. All that we do know is that each book in this trilogy will focus on 2 new teen protagonists, which I'm kind of worried about because I love Katie and Ezra, and I kind of don't want to say goodbye to them or completely goodbye to them. I'm sure in the next book we will get to see them, but it just won't be focused around them. But I'm still very excited to see where this story goes, because the ending of this book was just, I didn't see the ending coming. Right at the end you sort of realize what is going on and why this is all happening, and I just thought it was pretty amazing, and so I'm excited to see how the story progresses from here. We do know that the next story will take place on and around the Hemdale jump point, so I'm assuming it'll be kind of like where the story left before they reach the Hemdale, probably to like them getting to the Hemdale and being at the Hemdale. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me on that. But it is to do, that's what we are being revolved around. And overall, I highly recommend you pick up this book. It was absolutely amazing, and it's such an amazing reading experience. And I definitely feel like even if you aren't really into science fiction and you aren't really maybe into this kind of book, I still think it is a worthwhile read just to be able to experience a book told entirely through documents. If you want to be gripped from page 1, then this is the book for you. I can assure you that you will be sucked into the world and fight alongside these characters. It was such an amazing ride, and like I said, I am so excited for book 2. I can't wait to see what exactly it will be about. I'm pretty sure that Emmy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff may still be writing it or maybe finalizing it. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm definitely really excited to see what that is about. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said at the start of this video, if you haven't read Illuminae, then let's talk about the book in the comments below, because I loved this book. It is definitely a contender for my top 5 books of 2015. Other than that, I'll see you guys on Wednesday for top 5 Wednesday, or on Saturday for another Christmassy video. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. I will leave some links in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you guys later. Bye.